We have with us here today two eighth graders, Sophie Canton and Sophia Zaytouni from Barkai. And this month we're dedicating in honor of or memory of your father, Hakham Matloub Abadi. And we want to get to know a little bit more about him. So they have a few questions prepared that they're going to ask you, and we'd love to hear about him. So girls, go ahead, take it away.
Okay, the first question is, where was he born?
He was born in Aleppo, Syria. And he was there till he left about when he was 17 or 18, and he went to study in Porat Yosef in Jerusalem.
Okay, and how or when did he get to America?
Oh, he came in 1921. And that was after he was married, and he had 3 children, and times were very difficult at that time. It was right after World War I, and it was very hard to support a family. So many of these young men were coming to America because they felt that there was more opportunity there. So he came without his family to see if he could make a life for himself over here in the new Syrian community that was brand new. And he came in 1921, and his family, his wife and 3 children didn't follow him until 1924.
Oh, wow.
So what did he feel was the most important job or responsibility for becoming a community rabbi?
Well, first of all, he felt that they weren't getting the proper Jewish education. And even when they did, their methods were very different. They were taught how to pray in Arabic, not in Hebrew. And to him, that was a very important thing for them to learn, and he concentrated on that.
Oh, wow, very interesting. So did he do anything else besides being a rabbi?
Yes, he was a businessman. As a matter of fact, when he first came, he came with the intention of going into business, because, as I said, they had a family to support. But what happened is, when he arrived, as soon as he got off the boat, there was a whole contingency of Syrian men who had been here before, and they said, we need a rabbi desperately. We don't have a Talmud Torah, we don't have a synagogue. We need a rabbi desperately, and we want you to take care of that. So he wasn't too happy about it, because it wasn't what he came for, but he said he could not turn them down.
And another question, what were some of your favorite memories of him?
My favorite memories? Well, my memories were, what can I tell you? He always had a sense of humor, and he had a lot of company. I remember growing up, there were always people coming to see him, people who came from Syria, people who came from what was Palestine, and then it was Israel. And we had a very close family together. We didn't have any other relatives here. Now you all have uncles and aunts. We had nobody. We didn't even have any cousins here. Just us, was the entire family.
It's amazing to hear that he came to be a businessman and he became such a Hakham.
Yes. Well, he loved Torah. He loved it. He said, I did it for the pleasure of it. He enjoyed it so much. And as he was growing up, even when, he used to teach in Syria, in Aleppo, men older than him. And he would be in the synagogue, and many times they would leave, and the next morning when they would come to open up, and the caretaker, he would see him sleeping, his head on the table, falling asleep from the night before. He never went home.
Oh, wow.
Did he ever go back to Israel?
Sorry,
Pardon
again,
me?
Sophie?
Did he ever go back to Israel after, when he came back to, when he
He really didn't. He always he always thought about it because he was a Zionist. He believed in Zionism very strongly, but he never did. But, you know, he was one of the very first, maybe the very first, who decided that when he passed away, he wanted to be buried in Israel. And he was, and this is more than 50 years ago.
Wow, it's amazing. Wow, girls, do you have more questions?
Sophie, you have any questions?
I'd like to tell a little story about him.
Go ahead.
Okay, you asked about the family being together. We were very close, and we would all come and visit him, especially on Friday afternoon before Shabbat. And he would sit down and talk to us and see what's new in the world. He was interested in what's going on in the world. But one thing he didn't like gossip. So it so happened he wore a hearing aid. And he would sit down, and one thing I remember he would say, if you're going to gossip, he took off his hearing aid and he said, when you have something of value to talk about, tell me and I will put the hearing aid back on. He did not believe in shalosh hanara.
That's a great story. We could all learn a lesson from him. Wow.
Yeah, yes.
That's really great.
I want to say also that he believed in education for girls. I went to Hebrew school, but at the time we were 1 or 2 girls, and it wasn't so comfortable to be with 18 boys and we were the only girls. So they didn't concentrate on us, but he really believed truly that an education for girls and for secular and religious education.
He was way ahead of his time. Now all the girls are all in yeshivot learning until high school, even after.
Yes, I know that.
Great. Okay, thank you so much, Auntie Evelyn. It was great
Okay.
seeing you, great hearing from you, great hearing about your father.
Thank you.
Okay, dear. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch. Have a good day.
Thank you, dear.
Bye.
Bye.